Thank you, Earl, and I add my congratulations to the new members and to the new international members of the NAE. This year is an exciting year for the National Academy of Engineering, our 60th anniversary. Anniversaries are more than a celebration of our past. They present an opportunity to learn from the past in order to move confidently into the future. Anniversaries are a time to ask and answer important questions such as, why are we here? What should we do? What have we accomplished? What more can we do? Engineering touches every person, every day, many times. As engineers, our responsibility is to do great things and good things, a quote I attribute to NAE Vice President Wes Harris. So let's start with the first question. Why are we here? The National Academy of Engineering is one of the three pillars of the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. We serve the nation by providing independent, objective advice to inform policy, sparking progress and innovation to provide a better and more secure quality of life, and confronting challenging issues to benefit society. As the National Academies, we encourage education and research, recognize outstanding engineering contributions that benefit society, provide technical advice to the government and public, and increase public understanding of science, engineering, and medicine. But to answer why we are here, let's go back to the beginning. The need to cultivate science and engineering and advanced technology was amplified in response to the wartime needs of our country. In 1863, against the backdrop of the Civil War, the National Academy of Sciences was founded by an act of Congress. That act was signed by Abraham Lincoln. The mission of the new academy was broad yet specific. The academy shall, whenever called upon by government, investigate, examine, and report upon any subject of science or art. I might add that art in those days meant engineering. At its inception, NAS was composed of scientists, engineers, technologists, and medical professionals. But from 1865 to 1905, advances in transportation, communication, structures, and power propelled engineering to the forefront. It is interesting to note that during that period, nearly every engineering feat was met with broad celebrations. When the first cable was laid from America to Europe, 25,000 people paraded the streets of New York for 16 hours. That must have been fun. When the Union and Central Pacific Railways were joined into the first transcontinental line in May of 1869, Americans across the land rang bells, shot cannons, and lit bonfires in celebration. 3,000 people gathered at the Great Salt Lake to see the last tie placed and the last spike driven in the railroad. And when the Golden Gate Bridge was completed in 1937, more than 200,000 people celebrated with a fiesta, followed by a week of pageants, parades, and other festivities. During this golden era of engineering, three things happened. Technology advanced, engineering practices and achievements became more prevalent, and the need for engineering to have an explicit role in advising the nation became more pronounced. So in 1964, some years later, nearly 100 years after the founding of the NAS, the National Academy of Engineering was established under the original NAS Congressional Charter. This was touted as a major landmark in the history of the relationships between science and engineering in our country. The 25 founding members of the NAE were giants in their field. 15 are pictured here at the first annual meeting of the NAE in 1965. 52% of the members represented business and industry, 36 represented universities, and 12% represented national laboratories and the military. Fred Terman, there he is. Fred Terman, circled in red, was Dean of Engineering and then Provost at Stanford. Terman was a mentor to Hewlett and Packard of HP fame, both of whom were elected to the NAE. He earned his PhD at MIT under the supervision of Vannevar Bush, an electrical engineer who was the leading advocate for the formation of the National Science Foundation and author of the well-known 1945 report, Science, the Endless Frontier. With that historical background, I will explain why we are here. First, to enable the convening of the best and brightest minds in engineering in service to the nation. Second, to provide independent, nonpartisan technical advice to the government and public. Third, to promote the advancement of engineering, technology, and innovation for the benefit of all society. And fourth, to include significant representation of members from industry who bring expertise and perspectives about combining scale and cost. Of the three academies, the NAE is the only one with a significant membership from industry. This inclusion is very important and a very powerful reason for the existence of the NAE. Industry is central to innovation and the application of engineering principles. To succeed in our mission, to provide sound advice to the government and the public about technology and issues that can and should be addressed by engineering, the voices of both industry and academia are needed and very important. Next, what should we do? And by we, I'm speaking of the organization as a whole and you, the individual members. Together, working in unison with the 7 divisions of the National Research Council, our operational arm, and the volunteers who provide their time and expertise, the National Academies is the trusted voice for evidence-based studies, reports, and discussions that address science, engineering, technology, medicine, and policy issues of the day. The depth of knowledge and the diverse perspectives that you, NAE members, bring to the table make reports and studies from the National Academies the gold standard. The convening power of the National Academies to bring together the best minds in sciences, engineering, and medicine is our greatest asset. Membership in the NAE is an honor, but it carries with it a responsibility of service. In 2023, 54% of our members and 22% of our international members participated in activities of the National Academies generally and the NAE specifically. That's 54%. And 500 served on NAE committees. 1,100 members took an active role in our member elections. So to answer what should we do, I say engage, participate, advise, inform, lead. Today, the technological advances and changes in our environment are taking place at a rapid pace. Some of these are good, the global connectedness and medical advancements. Some are worrisome, climate change and pandemics. And others walk the fine line between both, like artificial intelligence and weapon systems. The leadership and expertise of the National Academy of Engineering, its members, and the engineering profession as a whole is needed now more than any other time in our nation's history. Our call to action is to provide leadership in a world of accelerating change. Over the past 60 years, what have we accomplished? What impacts have we made to ensure the safety and security of our society? Let me show you.
Since its founding in 1964, the National Academy of Engineering has provided leadership and expertise for the welfare and prosperity of our nation as the trusted voice in engineering. Part of the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, the NAE's members actively participate in objective, evidence-based studies and reports that address the most important issues of the day. Protecting our planet through sustainable and enhanced systems. Protecting our citizens by considering society's needs in every invention, from clean energy to defense. Advancing the profession by expanding the definition of an engineer, the role engineers play, and who can be an engineer. Safeguarding our systems by innovating for uncertainty. improving the welfare of the nation by incorporating policy, education, and industry in our consensus studies, and creating a sustainable tomorrow for all. The National Academy of Engineering, providing 60 years of leadership to our nation and its citizens.
And kudos to our communications office for putting together such fine video. We appreciate that. Yes, the NAE has made a difference. We will continue to make a difference through continued efforts to provide sound advice to promote the engineering profession in ways that will build a strong workforce for the future and to raise public awareness about the positive impacts engineers and engineering make in our daily lives. And last, what more can we do? The answer: we must continue to support diversity and inclusion efforts, as Earl mentioned, to broaden the representation of society in the engineering profession. The data show the differences over many decades. I include 1992 here because that is the year I was elected. And you can see we've made great progress in terms of diversity since 1992. But a picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's look at the next one. Okay, this is the original, 15 of the 25 original, the representation of the times. But note the dress code, a little bit uniform. It looks to me like they shopped at the same store and got the same ties. Okay. Today, engineering is a more diverse field in terms of gender, race and ethnicity, career positions, and personal experiences. The variety of perspectives garnered from a more diverse and inclusive profession enhances the creativity of engineering. This is today's sample of today's the 2024 class, and you can see, comparing to the previous picture, quite a bit of difference. Okay, next slide. On the international level, we continue to see growth. This year, we elected 20 new international members representing 16 countries. We are proud of the 15 of the international members that are here today to be inducted. We look forward to engaging with each of you in the important work we do. The NAE membership today is a better representation of our society. We aim to increase representation from industry and underrepresented groups and include outstanding engineers working in established and emerging technologies. To do that, we need to break down barriers so more students from underrepresented groups and underprivileged educational backgrounds feel encouraged to study engineering. One such program is the NAE's Engineer Girl. For more than 20 years, the Engineer Girl website has inspired young women and girls to become engineers. Engineer Girl has grown into a program that includes chats with mentors, a writing contest every year, and an ambassadors program that engages high school students in developing engineering activities for middle school students in their community. Building on its success, the Inclusive, Diverse, and Equitable Engineering for All IDEA program is currently developing a new platform called Engineer Teens. The goal is to engage a broader spectrum of youth, including young men and boys. We also need to ensure that new and early career engineers are given opportunities to learn and network and make lasting connections with engineers from all engineering disciplines. The Granger Foundation Frontiers of Engineering is a great example. It brings together a select group of early career engineering leaders from industry, academia, and government to discuss pioneering technical work and leading-edge research. Symposia are held annually in the U.S., and bilateral events are held with the European Union, Germany, Japan, and China. About 11% of all NAE members elected since 2005 are alumni of the Frontiers of Engineering program. And I know in this class, 16 of the newly elected members are alumni of the Frontiers of Engineering. I'd like them to stand so we can give you a round of applause. Anyone who participated? No. Impressive. If we are to keep pace with the increased demand for future engineers, we need to reach tomorrow's students today. We need to introduce them to engineering in all of its many facets. We need to encourage students to pursue a career in engineering. The days when engineering feats were celebrated with parades, bonfires, and week-long festivals are over. Major engineering feats like our global connectedness, which were unimaginable 60 years ago, are taken for granted today. Engineering has become ingrained in every aspect of our lives. The consequence is that the word engineering gets lost. We talk about science and technology, we talk about innovation and advancements. We must consistently put the word engineering back in the conversation. That's where our outreach efforts can help. They help keep engineering in the public eye. Of course, all these efforts require funding. The National Academies is not part of the government, and this is by design. This ensures that the essential work we do remains objective and credible. One result of this independence is our dependence on philanthropy. About 61% of NAE's operating budget derives from past and current donations by our members, foundations, corporations, and other partners. The Campaign for Leadership in a World of Accelerating Change seeks to raise $100 million to support effective, action-oriented activities that enable and empower the NAE to be the trusted source of engineering advice for creating a healthier, more secure, and more sustainable world. As we celebrate the 60th anniversary, our goal going forward is to propel the NAE and engineering into the future. We can do this by building an inclusive engineering workforce, nurturing relationships and programs that advance engineering efforts, and spreading the word about the positive impacts engineering has made in the world. Yes, the world is changing. Yes, engineers have a leadership role to play. Yes, we can and will lead that change. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the remarkable officers and counselors who govern the NAE. They serve the organization with integrity and dedication. And I ask the officers and counselors to stand so that we may recognize them. Over here. And a resounding thank you to the NAE staff. It's a wonderful group. Staff is a wonderful group of individuals to work with, and they make good things happen for the NAE and its members. With the NAE and National Academy staffs present today, please stand to be recognized and thanked again. Staff members. Recognizing the work of so many reminds me of a quote by a man, or maybe a woman. If everything is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. With that in mind, I ask the family members of today's inductees to please stand. Your patience, love, and support played a huge part in the lives of our inductees, and we are grateful to you for that. Before we begin the induction ceremony, I want to briefly address a question that has to be on everybody's mind, and that is, what is the difference between a scientist and an engineer? To answer this important question, I repeat a story told to me by a friend. A scientist and an engineer went hiking in the mountains. At the end of the day, they pitched their tent, enjoyed dinner, and went to sleep. After a few hours, the engineer wakes the scientist and says, "Look toward the sky. What do you see?" The scientist replies, "I see millions of stars." The engineer says, "What does that tell you?" The scientist says, "Astronomically speaking, it tells me that there are millions of galaxies and potentially billions of planets. Astrologically, it tells me that Regulus is in Leo. Time-wise, it tells me it's approximately 3:30 in the morning. And weather-wise, it seems we're going to have a beautiful day. The scientist then turns to the engineer and says, "What does it tell you?" And the engineer replies, "Somebody stole our tent." Finally, I want to personally congratulate the class of 2024 on your election to the NAE. You have excelled in your profession and helped to make the world a better place. And I and my colleagues in the NAE look forward to working with you in the years ahead. You were elected in February of this year, but today you received the certificate and you signed the book, which goes back, the signatures go back to 1964. Where your family and friends, as you walk on the stage, and fellow NAE members can applaud your accomplishments. The signatures in the book will stay forever, and so you will enjoy the infamy of that. Every induction ceremony is a new beginning for the NAE, and with that, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Al Romig, NAE Executive Officer, who will conclude our 60th anniversary celebration and begin the induction ceremonies. Al?